Hi, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Digital Leadership Associates. I'm here with a good friend and Facebook. I call you an expert, Julia, because I know that you're very modest. Julia Bramall, and we're going to talk about Facebook Threads. Before we start, Julia, explain everybody where they can get hold of you.
Okay, if you want to get hold of me, just come and find me on the socials. I'm at Julia Bramall. Everywhere, just about. So yeah, come and hang out.
And your website's Bramble Buzz.
My website is Bramble Buzz, but I am going to be switching over in a couple of weeks to a website centered around my name. I'm going to do the old personal branding thing.
Lovely.
So, yes.
Fantastic. So while I would love to discuss that, let's talk about Facebook Threads, because it's new.
It is new.
And anything new is exciting for us in social land. Give us your view on what Facebook Threads is for those people that actually have not seen the recent announcement.
Okay, it's at its heart, it's a phone-based messaging app, and it's come out of the Facebook stable, but it's actually based more on your Instagram and what you're up to on Instagram than it is on your Facebook. And to cut a very long story short, as we briefly discussed a few minutes ago, Tim, I reckon it's going to be the portal through which Facebook is going to allow us all to message directly to our contacts, whether they're on Messenger, whether they're on Instagram Direct, or whether they're on WhatsApp, which is the thing that they've been talking about doing probably for about a year or so now. Don't know, time flies when you're having fun.
Doesn't it just? So from a high level point of view, from a social and how social is developing, I think that we're seeing that there is different types of social. There is one to millions, one to few, or one to your network. You would create a network on LinkedIn where you basically have you're connected to people and there's a permission going on. There's one to few, which is where so far probably WhatsApp groups have been that, where one person, or you can form a group. So there's most people have got a family group or a friends group or a mahjong group, and my partner plays mahjong and she has or one-to-one. And at the moment Facebook Messenger is kind of one-to-one, but this feels like a WhatsApp group update and seems to be far more modern in the way that it's built.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's taken a bit from the WhatsApp success, and it's also taken a bit from Snapchat's success, because we know that Facebook is always looking over Snapchat's shoulder, and also, as we discussed, Tim, looking at TikTok and how that suddenly seems to be taking off much more maybe than it did before. So instead of being based on text messaging, this messaging app is very much based on taking a photo or a video and sending it literally in 3 clicks or 2 clicks and a swipe, being able to send it to your close friends. But that's the difference between what we've already seen from Instagram and Facebook Messenger, is this is all based on your close friends list that you have created within Instagram Direct. And if you haven't created it yet, you can create it within the Threads app itself. So you are really only using this app to talk to people that you really want to talk to, who you've decided are your close friends. Point to note, though, you only have to be following them to be able to send them stuff using this app. They don't have to be following you back, because I just tested this out. So that's interesting. So we'll see how that one pans out.
So do you think that in the way that brands and companies are using social, is this something that they need to get into, or is this something that they just need to be wary of?
I would say at the moment, just know that it exists. Just know that it's there. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on the developments that are coming out. It seems very rudimentary, because at the moment you can create a photo or a video and you can add a bit of text to it, or you can make a little scribble on it, but you can't access any of the filters or the stickers that are currently within Instagram stories that you might want to do. So it does seem to be like they've got the first, if you like, your minimum viable product. They've created it and they've got it out there. And at the moment, you can only talk to people on your Instagram close friends list. So I would keep an eye on it, see what's happening with it. I would guess that maybe, if you're early 20s or under 20, you might want to pick it up and play with it. And that does seem to be the demographic that they've aimed it at the moment. But I would say don't be overwhelmed by it at the moment.
Yeah. So it's a, I mean, we talked before you came on and we said it felt like a Snapchat. Yeah. Where you'll take a very short video or a picture and you'll share that ultimately with close friends. I mean, I know that people on Snapchat may have, you may have hundreds or thousands of people that follow you. If I know I have a friend who's now being who's just going to be a doctor. She's training to be a doctor, and she follows some plastic surgeon because they have some. He shares operations and that, and she loves operations.
Wow.
So, and I believe that he has like thousands of followers, but that's kind of the exception rather than the rule.
Yeah.
It's usually something, here's me and Malcolm and we're climbing a tree and Malcolm falls out type thing.
Yeah, I mean, Snapchat was always designed to be this tool whereby people could keep in touch during their day, wasn't it? And just let people know what you're up to during the day. And this is what Threads at the moment is doing for you, because the other side to Threads, which is a little bit more like Snapchat, is the fact that you can either set a status to let people know what you're up to. So anyone on Threads can see what you've decided to say about yourself. So I put a little status saying I was having a play around with Threads, for example. Or, and this is the bit maybe gets a little bit spooky and could potentially get them bad press, is they give you a default status if you opt into it, which is based on your location, it's based on your battery life, it's based on your network connectivity, and they decide what you're doing, whether you're at a cafe or whether you're on the move, for example, or whether you're just chilling. So again, that's designed to let your close friends know what you're up to without you even having to say anything.
Yeah, yes, and I can understand that from a Californian view, that's probably okay. I can, in a European GDPR world, we probably find that quite scary.
Yeah, especially given the privacy concerns around Facebook recently and what they've been up to with our data.
Yeah, and I think that well, I don't mind where people if they do enough research, they know where I am now because where I'm sitting. But I mean, you've got 5 children, and certain people, you wouldn't want them to know where your children were at any point in time. So I think
absolutely. And my kids they'll shut off SnapMap, for example, because they don't want other people. They don't even want their friends necessarily to know where they are all the time. Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't want my people knowing exactly where I was with my kids or with my friends. You can switch that off. You don't have to opt into it. And Facebook is saying that they're not storing any of that information on their servers. But yeah,
it's sad that we're talking here about trust of that platform. And I do hope they win that trust back. But they do have this. I love California, but in California, the great thing about California is it just has this different mindset, and sometimes that doesn't play across the globe. Yeah. And that Californian mindset is actually to open everything up and open all the. And I would love that. And I'm happy for people to see that data, but not everybody is.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are just concerns about the fact that, they're harvesting this data and then what are they going to do with it? And what are you later going to get served up, et cetera, et cetera. So again, it's just something to be mindful of. And if you are going to go in and play around with it, just be aware that that's what that option is doing.
And have they got ads on Threads yet?
Not as far as I can make out, but it only came out last week. So we'll wait and see.
I was talking to somebody and they said that as soon as they put ads on Facebook Messenger, they would make, was it $1 billion, $1.5 billion, $2 billion of money just like that?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. So yeah, it gives them another option, doesn't it, for running their ads too, for sure, once they've got it established.
So in summary, in terms of Threads, not something that probably the brands need to get into. They probably need to play around on it, but you never know. I mean, if you look at WhatsApp, I mean, you and I have seen people try and monetize WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever did, but you know, from a you know, if you've got small interest groups of Internet of Things, or you know, you could have professional groups just as much as Steve and Malcolm and Elizabeth, who you go down the pub with. So you know, there's a possibility of using it. But
yeah, you absolutely could, and you can set up groups within Threads, of course, and you can do video chats directly to that group. So I mean, even within a business context, you could have a coaching group or a catch-up group or a mastermind group or whatever.
So if you were doing coaching, you know, every time you ran a session, you could set up a Threads, and then you could do your catch-up sessions with those. So there's possibilities.
There are possibilities, and if you've got, you know, we are all so much more on the move maybe now than we ever used to be. We expect to be able to run our business on the move. A lot of us do that with just a phone. So it's going to help people who want to do that. Absolutely, for sure. You could do, you know, your coaching while you're waiting for a train or whatever it is, rather than be glued to your laptop.
Fantastic. So remind everybody again where they can get hold of you, Julia.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I'm at Julia Bramble everywhere on socials. It's probably the easiest way to find me.
And you're one of the most active people that I know on social.
Oh, thank you.
You know, if people are looking for you, they'll find you.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And I love to have a chat. Do come and have a chat.
You do. And when I mean social, I don't mean you're just posting stuff there. You will interact with people.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
It's got the word social in it, after all.
It does.
It's been great talking to Julian, just having that catch up on Facebook Threads and getting your insight and on views about whether that would be useful for people.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Julia. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.